In this video, we're going to talk about decimals. And specifically, with the idea of decimals, we're going to talk or discuss place value. So when we've got a number, I'm just going to put some dashes here to represent a number. So I'm going to put numbers in here in just 1 minute. But these place values, I've got stuff here to the left side of my decimal point and things to the right side here of my decimal point. So let me just turn the page. A quick recap here would be that anything that's placed in this, which is just to the left of the decimal point, those are called ones. And then anything that's put into this spot right here, those are called tens. Hundreds as we go forth, and better give myself some room here, and thousands, like that. Now, why do we call them those? Well, in this spot right here, whatever number I put are how many ones or unit blocks, if you want to think about them in terms of little squares, how many ones I've got. So let's say maybe I'm going to make up a number here. I've got 3 of those. Now, let's say I've got another, 10 of these ones together somewhere else, okay? And I put those in with the 3s. Well, in order to do that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, okay, well, I've got some more 10s. I've got, let's say, one more set of 10s. And so I would put that number here. So this 1 represents 10 of these. So altogether, I have 13 of these ones. And it goes on accordingly. Let's say this is a 4 and this is a 7. So so far I've got 7,413 little blocks. Now what if we have like pieces of a block or just like partial pieces? Well, that's when we get into our decimals over here. And so this first spot, is going to be called the tenths spot. And I'll explain why in just a second that it's called the tenths, and it'll make sense. And so it's not quite symmetric. Like when I was taking math courses, when I first saw this as a student, I thought, oh, this should be the oneths spot, and then this would be the tenths spot, and then everything's real symmetric and nice. But we'll talk about why this is the tenths. So we've got tenths, we have hundredths, okay? Then we have thousandths, then we have hundred thousandths, and then, we've got 10 thousandths. Said that wrong. 10 thousandths. We've got 100. And it's going to get kind of dicey in here with getting everything to fit. 100 thousandths. And then it keeps going, okay? So just like we would in this direction, same thing in this direction, except it's not quite symmetric. So let's go ahead and put some numbers in here. I'll just make something up. Let's say this is a 2, a 6, a 5, a 0, and a 9. So we would read this number out loud as 7,413. And now here, we'd read it as, and it depends on how you want to go. You can say I've got 2 tenths, 6 hundredths, 5 thousandths, so on and so forth. But we read it really as whatever the last place value is, so 100,000. So we read it as 26,509 hundred thousandths, which is it's an odd feeling to really read that off, but that's the way it would work. But what we want to know is what are our place values, because where this will come into play is when we go ahead and we round numbers. So if we are using, let's say, significant digits in a physics class or biology class, chemistry, whatever it happens to be, or we're taking data in an econ class for statistics or psychology, we really want to know where we are rounding to, and it's typically back here in the decimals. Okay, so we might round to the tenths or the hundreds or the thousands. Now, why are they called this? Well, this number right here, I'm just going to draw an arrow down. This 2 right here represents 2 tenths. So it is 1/10 plus another 1/10. And so really it is 2 tenths. And that's what this means. So forget all this. If I just had just this number right here, this would be 7,413 and 2 tenths. I've got 2 tenths together. This would be 6 hundredths. So let me draw down here. That would be 100th plus 100th plus, and I'm going to do this 6 times, 100th. And there's going to be 6 of these guys. So that's why they get their names that they do. What you're going to want to know is if someone says we're looking at the hundreds place or the thousands place, you're going to want to know which number they're talking about. So 5 is in the thousands place, 2 is in the tenths place, 4 is in the hundreds place, although 6 is in the hundredths place. And that just gives you an idea of our place value system with decimals.